Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Honor the Past, Plan for the Future with Dawn Clark. Our guest today, Ms. Jensen Kelly.
Hello.
Yes, Jensen Kelly.
How long have you lived in Salem?
My entire life.
You have?
I have.
Oh.
Well, I
Wait a
wasn't
minute.
born here.
She said her entire life. Let's just clarify. What generation is this?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
20
right.
years.
Okay.
I'm almost 21 though. So, that's exciting.
Great.
Now, how do you know Don?
So, his son is a year younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also worked for Linnell in high school. I worked
Here at Occasions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
And
okay.
we're also neighbors.
Yes, we
We're
are.
part of the Toyota Club.
Yeah. We got a special handshake, but we can't do it.
we can't show
let
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you coached one of my brothers, maybe.
Probably.
Did you ever coach Judd playing football?
I believe I did.
Yeah.
And of course, went to a lot of high school games here and watched both of them play. So Jensen,
Okay.
the last election cycle, you weren't old enough to vote.
Right. I was 17.
17. So now you get the honor and the privilege
I do.
to be able to vote. And you were explaining that, you took some things from school, but now you got to go and put it into application.
Right.
What are some of the things that, you just don't know that you kind of are apprehensive about for the first time walking into
That they
the
didn't
voting
teach you in civics class. Or maybe they did.
And I just wasn't
you
paying
just-
attention.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to say it.
No,
but
yeah, I was a short attention span. But, I actually didn't really know. I don't know if I was just being naive or just ignored all the street signs everywhere my entire life. But I didn't know you could, vote in, city-type state elections up until you started running for city board.
Right.
And we just got to talking about that. But, it's kind of cool because, when you vote for the country, I don't know, I feel like my singular vote doesn't have as much of a huge impact. But when you narrow it, which is, it does, but not
Right.
as much as it would in, a city election.
Right.
Because it narrows it down a little bit more.
It does. It
Makes it a little bit more personable.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You get to see the candidates. You get to interact with the candidates. You get to ask them questions. I've always encouraged my children to go do your research, right? Before you vote for someone, know who they are to the best of your ability. And that's tough at a national state level, but at a local level, man, it's so much easier.
Right.
You get to go and sit down with that person. I took the time yesterday afternoon to sit in someone's living room for them to ask me questions, and I was so appreciative of it. For at least 45 minutes, we had a conversation. You just can't do that at a state or a national level as easy with the voting population. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah. And I like it because, you and several other people who are running for city board, I've known another part of the small town. I've known all y'all most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that I get to support people that I know.
And so we were talking earlier, and I encouraged Jensen, just because you know me, that's not a reason to vote for me. Right? Ask me, dig deep into questions and make sure that there are policy and plan behind why I'm running versus anything else, because that's important, because these seats are very important. So you want to vote on people who are going to actually go in and do the work of the city.
Right.
Do you feel a little bit nervous about knowing what to even ask?
Yeah, because there's not much I know about elections in general, just because I've never really participated in it. And but
Don is right here. You could
ask
him. You could ask him what a city board member even does. What were you going to say, Don?
Well, what I was going to say is, you may not know, but you do know, because you said, "Hey, I love Salome. What do you love about Salome? And what would you like to see maybe change for Salome?" And then that's a good question to say to a candidate. What are your plans?
Yeah.
I'm 20 years old. I live here now. What are some things that you're planning on doing to keep a young, bright person like me to want to stay in this community?
Yeah, so what are your plans?
Great. Good.
Just going to answer your own question there.
Yeah. My plans are, I would love to see Salome be a little bit more strategic when it comes to growth. I feel like in the current moment, as a lot of communities are, because it's happening very fast, that is just kind of happening. Well, I think we can take a step back and look at and examine what this community stands for and its values and its DNA, as I always say, and then get very strategic and thoughtful about, all right, how do we get there, right? We put a lot of time and effort into something called a comprehensive plan. That plan is a living document that we should use as a guide when we think about these things.
I'm going to pause you right there.
Yes.
When you say we put a lot of effort into making a comprehensive plan, who do you mean? Who's we?
Okay, so at the time that was put together, I worked for the city. Not only myself, but there was a comprehensive plan advisory committee made up of citizens that we put together, and then as well as the community at large, because we went out to the community. We did surveys. We held workshops.
I got one of those surveys in my utility bill.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
And then we worked with the Planning Commission and the Board of Directors to adopt it, and it becomes that guide for a community to say, they're telling us this is what we want to see. And the plan is called Siloam 2040, and what it's meant to do is get us to that year and grow towards what this community wants. So I would like to see us go back, examine that, and use that as our marching orders. Again, you will have to tweak it. Things are going to come up, but that gives you a good opportunity to say, well, this is what the community wants, and we need to be looking towards it. The other thing I would like to see is, a lot of people don't understand how city finances work, but we have income that comes in multiple ways. Siloam is unique in that it owns its own utilities. So utilities is one of the ways that we get revenue. It is probably the largest revenue source. I would like to see us not be so dependent on that as we grow and start to look at ways, how do we bring another revenue source in? Now, Jensen, if you and your friends were planning a evening out, you would say, hey, I'd like to go do these things right here. Somewhere in there's probably entertainment. Somewhere in there's probably a place to go eat.
Yeah.
Well, what happens here is when people do that and we don't have a box of checks for either one of those, they leave our trade area. So those dollars that could be spent in our trade area is often spent in others, in neighboring communities. Right. We need to look for ways to be able to check those boxes.
Right.
What are some of the restaurants people are looking for, and can we get them here? What are some of the entertainment options people are looking for, and then can we get them here? And then what are some of the shopping opportunities people are looking for so we can get them here? I'm all about small business.
Right.
We're sitting in the back of a small business, and the thing about small business that I do appreciate is I've watched my wife run a business. She works 7 days a week. There's very little time off, and there's a lot of pressure on her to run the business.
Right.
But at the same time, that is going to be a small segment of the market. What do we do about the other things that, for instance, if I wanted a pair of boots, very hard. I mean, I got to go to one store here, but I can't go to multiple and look around.
Right.
So what we can do to fill in those areas to allow those dollars to be spent in our community, not the dollars from our community to go elsewhere to be spent. And then what that does takes pressure off utilities. And so it doesn't have to be just on the backs of citizens of you paying a water and electric sewer bill.
Right.
That's what I mean.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have another question. What are some things that you would like to see Siloam have when you say, from a 20-year-old perspective?
Right.
Because I'm not 20, nowhere near it. When you look out and you have a viewpoint, what are some things that you see, man, I wish Siloam had?
Yeah, so actually, last weekend I had a bunch of friends from out of town come stay with me, and we were going to go play pickleball, and all the pickleball courts were filled, and that's just such a big hit. So I'm like, there's other things that, we could do, like a rec center maybe. They come from a town that has this place called The Multi, and it's got indoor basketball courts and pickleball, tennis, volleyball, and you can rent balls, and like all the high school students there hang out, and it also provides jobs for these kids. Like they all work there and they love it, and so just something like that would be kind of cool.
So it's like a rec center.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that could fall under the category of entertainment you were talking about.
Kudos to city staff, to Parks and Rec, for increasing the number of pickleball courts, and it's really close to my house, so I love going there. And I was just thinking about, Don, what you were saying earlier about increasing the sales tax base. I mean, those sorts of things, when we keep Siloam folks in town to spend their dollars locally, that results in things like our parks being taken care of.
That's right.
So
we have beautiful parks.
We do. Yeah, again. But I mean, I think it's one of the greatest things about our town. I get to work all across Northwest Arkansas, and I know I'm biased because I've lived here for so long and I love this town so much, but there isn't another town that has the natural, beautiful assets that we do.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, I think if you go back, you've been to the pickleball courts here and played. How many times have you interacted with someone that you didn't know before you got there?
Oh, every time.
See, and that's what I think is great, because we keep talking about wanting to have this small town feel.
Right.
Well, it's things like that kind of forces the community to interact with one another. Yeah. That brings about that small. We know our neighbor now.
Right.
They're not the boogeyman that we thought they were.
We talked about that in episode 1.
We did.
When you were talking about fond memories that you have of the intergenerational time that you had with neighbors, with your grandfather. So having those sorts of spaces, those public spaces in our town, are really important for cultivating healthy and connected communities.
What about opportunities? When I say opportunities, like career-wise, when you think long term, where do you see yourself?
I mean, ultimately, it's God's plan for my life. But if I could choose, I would choose to stay in Siloam.
Absolutely.
I feel like there is lots of opportunity here. My major, I'm in college right now, and my major is actually physical education and health. And if I could choose, I'd love to teach in the Siloam Springs School District.
Cool.
Some of my fondest memories, I mean, I haven't always loved the academic part of school, if I'm being honest, but I've really enjoyed school. My teachers have always poured into me so well, and like I was telling my mom the other day, I still like text one of my volleyball coaches frequently, just because, I don't know, she's poured into me, and I love that I've had that growing up, and I'd like to be able to do that for the next generation. That's
a part of community.
Yeah, and it's also like, I feel like there's ministry and all these opportunities, but I'm not necessarily called to church ministry, and I think we need teachers who love Jesus and who want to love kids.
Well, and I think, but the point is, you don't have to necessarily go into the mission field. You can just do it from the position you're in, and that's what's great. I love that. So, what sports did you play in high school?
I played volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah, I played volleyball for 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And we weren't even like a state championship team or anything, but it was just like, those were some of my best friends, you know what I'm saying? And my coach did a really good job of like team bonding and chemistry, and we actually served in our community a lot, which was also awesome. Like one time, my brother's 14 months older than me. I have two brothers. One of them's 14 months older than me. And when he was a junior in high school, his football coach was like, hey guys, we're going to go put like Christmas wreaths on graves. And I like went with the whole football team to do that. And so I liked how his coach had his team pour back into the community, because the community supports us, you know, as athletes and as students. So like, that would be one of my goals as a coach, is to give back to what they give us, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where the support comes from.
Absolutely. So, are there anything historically about Siloam, you know, that you enjoy? Any historic traditions?
Yeah. I mean, there's tons. I don't even know where to start. I don't know how historic the Dogwood Festival is.
Oh, yeah, it's a tradition.
It is a tradition, but I don't know if it's, like, super old. How old? Like, do we just celebrate?
Years. I was going to say, it's like 40 years.
Yeah. So it's been around a while.
Shout out to the Chamber of Commerce.
That is a huge piece of Siloam. So what about some other things? You know, Christmas parade?
I love the Christmas parade. I love how at the beginning of the parade, I think it's the mayor, usually, who has a little candy cane.
Yep.
And everyone gathers around, and then they light up the lights. I love that. I also love downtown trick-or-treating. That was my favorite. I also got checked out of school to go downtown trick-or-treating. And it's just awesome seeing all the business owners hand out candy. And these past few years, probably since I've been in high school, I love handing out candy.
Isn't it great?
It's great. I mean, the neighborhood we live in, it's always packed. So we've got trick-or-treaters coming to our door probably till midnight.
It is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to hand out in our neighborhood, you better show up with a lunch pail and be ready to go to work.
Oh, yeah. We spend so much money on candy, and it's just so much fun.
It is.
It's like, honestly, being downtown, kind of. Just so many people.
Yep.
I have a question. Does your family go to the rodeo?
Oh, yeah.
I
love the rodeo.
I want to hear favorite rodeo memory.
Oh, gosh.
I go every year.
I do, too.
Did you ever mutton bust? Because my kids did.
I didn't. Oh,
yes.
Are you kidding? I was terrified.
Oh, no. Were you terrified?
All of your kids did?
Yeah. They mutton bust here in Siloam.
I'm gonna hold on. Wait. Mutton bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Do you know what it is?
It's
where the kids ride the sheep.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like bull riding, but sheep and kids.
So
I'm
before
just
the
totally-
rodeo, it is the best. It is the
Mutton
best
bus.
to watch, and you'll be surprised.
They hold on.
They hold on like a long time. Yeah,
Them kids got like super grip.
You know, I grew up riding horses, and I ride horses. It's just one of those. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
I love that Siloam Springs Rodeo is what it is. A lot of people don't understand this. It is one of the largest rodeos. Probably right up there with the Rodeo of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
It is so well attended. You'd be shocked to go out there on a Saturday night. There is no place to sit.
No place to park.
And you're just trying to get in there, and it just speaks to that is a tradition, and it speaks to the value and the culture of Siloam Springs over here. Because a lot of communities have rodeos, but they've gone by the wayside.
Right.
And I think that's something that we as Siloam residents need to continue to support, because it has a huge economic impact on that weekend. There are so many people from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I don't think people understand what it takes to put on that rodeo.
Oh yeah.
They're there
so much
until
planning.
2-3 o'clock in the morning. Yep. They're coordinating when they're slack. I mean, and we have got a lot of people don't know this, that Jeff Lee, right here in Siloam Springs, rodeo announcer, also announces rodeos all over the United States.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All over the country, from Las Vegas to Wyoming. I mean, you name it. The one that rides in our arena and announces, that is, he is one of the premier rodeo announcers. He's from right here in our own community.
That's awesome.
The other thing is, even the grandstands that were built there were built by labor of the riding club, and
wow.
I don't want to. There were a lot of families involved, so I don't want to throw names out and miss one. But I'm just telling you, just even that is just a piece of history when you go into that arena and sit. I love it.
Give us a couple. What are a couple family names?
Well, I know the Robrons had a big part in it, and so today you still have a lot of those same families, the Reeds, the Butlers, that are still here supporting that rodeo and making it what it is. Karen Davis and her daughter Carrie. I mean, to Harvey Trogdon. I can just go on and on. These people put in blood, sweat, and tears for that, and all the members of the riding club. They're keeping a tradition alive, and I love it for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rodeo is a great tradition.
It is. Shout out to Siloam Springs Riding Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. I have a few rapid fire questions for you.
So we want to get to know the real Jensen killer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to
ask away.
All righty. So, what's your go-to binge watch show?
Oh goodness. Gilmore Girls. My mom and actually next Wednesday we're going on a trip to Connecticut for my 21st birthday.
You're going to the town?
Well, yeah. Well, there's not like a real
actual Stars Hollow.
Yes, but there's places they filmed.
Right. Gotcha.
So we're gonna go visit like the OG Luke's Diner and the gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll be in Connecticut next week.
Here I am over here like I know what the show is. Honestly, I've never watched it. My wife and my daughter have.
You have to watch
multiple
it
times.
My dad thinks they talk too fast.
Huh?
That's the whole point.
Yeah, my dad's like, they talk way too fast. And I'm like, okay, but I get it.
Gotcha.
It's good.
Are you a fan of the Netflix version of Gilmore Girls, or did that?
Yes, but I hate the way it ended.
We need spoilers. No spoilers.
No, we need more. That's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the best concert you've ever been to?
So I've got 3 that are. One's the best, but I've got 2 that are right there.
I love that you know this. That you're just ready.
I'm a concert junkie. I've been waiting for this question.
You and your brothers both, I believe.
Yeah, Jackson and I, my oldest.
Yes.
We go to a lot of concerts together.
That's why this question was there.
So my whole family has only ever been to one concert together, and it was my senior year of high school, and it was George Strait. And it was the best concert I've ever been to. It was so low key, but his music is just so wonderful.
Yep.
And then my top 2, I've been to 2 One Direction concerts, which is a big deal if you're a 12-year-old girl.
Who?
One Direction. They're a band.
Okay.
Not anymore. But they were.
I gotcha.
And then
they broke up?
They did break up.
Oh.
Who? Tell them who.
Like, do you know Harry Styles? He was part of it. That's probably the only name.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. No.
My next is Justin Bieber. I'm a huge believer. It's just my age.
Gotcha.
But yeah, those are my top concerts.
What's a trend that you're just totally over? Like, done with it?
I think clothes from the 80s are coming back.
Oh, are you over that though, or are you into it?
Well, I was never in the 80s, but I don't like the way the clothes were.
I got you.
Like big, poofy, shoulder type things. Yeah. Yeah, see, Kelsey loves it. I don't.
She's sending shots across the bow.
Oh, yes.
And mom jeans. I was never a fan of mom jeans.
Gotcha.
All of it.
So,
I want to perm my hair.
Yeah, I actually have had a perm. I had a perm when I was in 3rd grade.
How'd that go?
It lasted 2 days. And it stunk so bad. Like, when you're getting a perm and it stinks.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, if we open to your phone, what's going to be on your top apps used? Favorite app?
Probably, I'm not going to lie, Instagram.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I also have this app called Go Wish, where I've been spending a lot of time making my Christmas list recently. Yeah, so if you need an organized Christmas list, go download Go Wish.
Go Wish.
Okay. And last, if you could master any skill instantly, just like have it, whether it be a talent or anything, what would it be?
I'd like to play piano or guitar.
Oh, you and me both.
People who are musically gifted, like, I'm so jealous.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. I don't care any athletic.
Yeah,
if I could just go play the piano.
Yeah, I'd be set.
Oh,
I would do it for hours. Just sit there.
I watch my father-in-law can play the piano.
I know. He plays in here at Christmas.
He does, and it shocks me.
He's so gifted.
Because he's like a Renaissance man. You would never look at him and think he could play the piano, and he has these huge fingers. And I often just marvel and go, how does he even do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's told me I've had piano playing hands, but I have no ability whatsoever to play the piano.
We just recently my husband and I started playing traditional Irish music together. Have we not talked about this?
No, hold up. Hold up.
What?
Traditional Irish music. What instruments are involved in it?
So, for my birthday, last March, Jordan bought me a traditional, beautiful, like cherry wood Irish flute. And then my husband plays accordion.
What?
No way.
Yes, accordion. And then we have a friend from church.
We should have had that into the podcast
Yeah,
music.
he can be the opening.
What?
There's so many talented people that are more qualified to do the opener. Thank you, Jacob McCoy and Ben Bergstrom, for our original music.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Huge shout out.
But no, we have a friend from church who is a phenomenal fiddle player, and a friend that we met at a Hobbit-themed baby shower who plays the whistle. We got a couple friends who play guitar, even a tenor banjo, and a mandolin. So people can just like come and go. So we play every other Monday at Ivoryville at 7. And anybody can come and play. And bring your instrument.
I'm not going to come play, but I'm going to come listen.
I got to hear this.
We'll be there next Monday.
I don't know that I could pick out Irish music. But
yes, you can.
I will be able to. No, I'm just saying, but now I'll be educated. I can listen to it and be like, I know what that is.
I don't think I've ever seen an accordion be played. Or is that worded right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Anyway, I bring it back to music in Siloam, and this is yet another example of community coming together,
right?
Welcoming folks to just literally jump in and play. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So, Jensen, I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you get to experience the voting.
Me too.
It is something that is super important. I tell people all the time, just go vote.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, do your research, know who you're voting for, make sure that you don't buy into narratives, don't take sound bites, get to know the person, and then put the vote towards who you think best represent what you're looking for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You put a post on Facebook the other day that I shared, and part of it you were like, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm Christian. Mm-hmm. And I think that's super important.
It is, because I think in my lifetime, I just seen so much of a divide, and I think you don't all have to think alike, but you can treat each other with dignity and respect, and that doesn't make me less of a person. That doesn't make me less convicted in what I'm convicted in. If anything, I respect people who can do that and hold their character more than anything. And my challenge is to people, when you do come across those that are not in agreement with you, hold your character. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and be proud of the person I am. We can have differences and still be able to get along. Like, for instance, you said earlier you were a Cowboy fan. Had I known that, we
Chiefs
probably
fan?
wouldn't have put you in. No, I'm a Steelers fan, and y'all just beat us last Sunday.
Yeah, we cooked y'all.
So, hey. So, because of that, I mean, we still get along, though.
Yeah.
Other than
I'll
that,
be praying for your team.
yeah, Cowboys fans, listen, let's just talk about it. We've got 6. How many of the Cowboys got?
What do you mean?
Super Bowls.
Oh,
Was it
gosh.
maybe?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't even been alive.
Thank you.
You just wait, okay?
Thank you.
There's hope.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who listened, and we are looking forward to having you back and to listen to more Honor the Past and plan for the future. Thanks again so much to our amazing musicians that created the original music for intro-outro music.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who's out there volunteering for voting efforts, voter registration, and early voting, starting on October 21st. So thanks so much to those volunteers. Everybody, enjoy the beautiful fall and Siloam
Thank you, Jensen,
Springs.
for being a guest on our
Thank you for having me
show.
on. This
Yes.
has been so fun.
Yes.
And I've
Thank
learned
you.
a lot.
Till next time, farewell.
See you, folks.
Bye.